Good day. Welcome to Nona Black TV. Let's get into some headlines that are going on in news today. We want to hit some subjects, and as I indicated, was working on a video for in regards to housing and affordability, and our last topic will touch on that, and we'll get into that in a more in-depth episode coming soon. Thank you for watching the Nona Black TV channel. Want to use this platform to inform, to enlighten, and also to make sure that our families know what's going on so we can be engaged citizens. Please like the video. Leave a comment. I want to know your thoughts and your opinions, and also if you have any topics that you want me to cover and research. And of course, become a member of the family and subscribe. Okay, our first topic, I just wanted to touch on the Carlee Russell story for a moment. As we know, the young lady made allegations about, called 911, made allegations about a toddler on the side of the road, and also, leaving it open to believing that she could have possibly been abducted. Basically a false report. At this time, since now, police investigated. Of course, they could not corroborate her story as it was originally quoted, and she has recently came out through her attorney a statement and apologized for inaccurate reporting. Also, the district attorney and the police head, they came out and had a press conference indicating that she will be charged. As we know, the plight of African American women and women of color being missing is a serious thing. It is for any family have a loved one missing. And cases have to be investigated to vet them. In this case, by her own admission, Carlee Russell, through her attorney, admitted to filing a false report. With the charges, she will be charged. She is due consequences. We can't take these kinds of things lightly. If someone reports missing, we know how hard it is to get eyes and ears and true work on the case of missing people. And whatever consequences, I know it was charged to misdemeanors, and whatever is adjudicated in her district and happens, I think it's fair. What I will say is, when my concern is, of course, for the time and the resources, and of course you receive a fine, and that should help toward some of the cost. But also, I don't think I've ever heard a press conference with the state of Alabama where they saying that they are going to the state legislature to change the law to get enhancements. To my knowledge, she did not kill, murder, rape anyone. If you've heard about the state of Alabama police reaching out to state legislators as holding press conferences and requesting that the state legislator make laws and enhancements to keep rapists, murderers, other violent crime and offenses, keeping them in, being charged longer, higher fines, so that repeat offenders aren't let out. I haven't heard it. So be mindful of equal and unequal justice. No one is taken up for Miss Russell. My prayer is that anything that is going on with her internally to cause her to do this, that she gets the help that she needs, get into a better place and situation, and also become a productive citizen going forward, to not make that mistake again. I want to admonish just anyone or our young people to know, no matter whatever is happening or situation that does happen to you in your life, don't compound it by making the situation worse. The best policy is honesty first. As that is going on, I also did some research. There are true African American women who are missing now at this time, real cases. There is a foundation called Black and Missing. In that foundation, they seek to support families who may not be getting the media attention, who may not be getting due diligence in law enforcement resources being sent for their young people. Of the 2 Black females that I did research and found that were posted on the Black and Missing Foundation site as of July 19, 2023. These are recent cases. To date, I am not that I know that the young ladies have been found. There's Jaleel Dusful of Lovejoy, Georgia. She is only 15. No matter the circumstances of her missing, we need to be vigilant on cases where people could actually honestly be missing and for whatever reason found out the situation, recovered. Every missing person deserves the fair and equal treatment to be searched for and resources put into making sure that they're safe. The other lady was Latasha Crump of Coleman, of Jackson, Mississippi. She is 46 years old. Miss Coleman suffers from a medical condition. I just want to make sure that we're aware that life is still going on no matter the situation. So while the case with Miss Russell was happening, every day people are coming up missing. It is imperative that we stay vigilant on what's important and the most important. If you can support these foundations, or if you know any that do vet cases and seek to find the missing, please be sure that you support those. Another case I wanted to bring to light very quickly is a few months back, around January, I believe it was, 2023, there was a lady a young African American lady who was found. She escaped her abductors and tormentor. It was a white male was arrested in Excelsior, Missouri, and the community had been complaining that young women were coming, African American women were come up missing. Some around what they call Providence Ave Street, and multiple women were come up missing. They, even though some cases were reported, the police admonished, "Oh no, it's nothing happened." This lady, thank gracefully by the grace of God, she was able to escape afterward to prove that yes, there were young women being missing. This particular lady in the court documents is listed only as TJ. When she got to a neighbor's house fleeing for her life, she had a collar on her neck, she had shackles where she had been restrained. She told the lady who did call 911 and helped her that the man had killed other women. This case is not getting as much attention of what happened and what happened in that community, not hearing about it or the updates. We know some of this stuff can take time, but the man who was alleged and arrested for abducting her and imprisoning, keeping her against her will, that case is still ongoing. So there are real women, African American women, who are being abducted, who are being kidnapped, abused, that need our true help in finding and to keep the light and to focus on making sure that they are resources are being used to make sure they're being found. In another headline, of course, we saw where Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell was holding a press conference, and in that press conference he was talking, and then he stopped talking for a point. It seemed to appear that he was unsure of where he was or what was going on. Of course, some of the people around, his aides and stuff, came up to him to redirect him and ask him did he want to go back to his office, and he did. Later he did emerge. So later was joking about the situation. Want to just quote Steve Smith, and he says, clearly Mitch McConnell was impaired, most likely a medical event. He allegedly looked frail and elderly. He was born in 1942. We also saw another event. Senator Feinstein was in a hearing, and of course they were looking for a vote for that time, and she seemed to be confused as well. Instead of giving a nay or yay, she started reading from a prepared statement. And at that time, she didn't seem to fully understand what the assignment was. Her aides, reacted to her to try to assist her to get her back on course. I'm in the mind of our public officials should serve as long as they're fully able and capable of doing the job. When that is no longer possible, not sure what their health thing is. If they have an opportunity for family medical leave, if they have an illness, to have their time like any other person would on any other job. But at some point in time, if they cannot continue in their work, then they should resign or retire, so that the work of the Congress can go forward, and the laws that are being passed, the bills that are coming up, can be completely vetted, fully understood. A lot of these bills are hundreds and thousands of pages, and I know they have aides and stuff who do read and filter down some stuff for them, but they do have to have a cognitive understanding of what's going on and what they are agreeing and not agreeing to. Term limits seem like it should be a thing. Another topic, voting. Of course, you know voting is dear to my heart. As we know, Alabama recently, the Supreme Court struck down the map that they were trying to use. The Supreme Court directed the state of Alabama to include districts with my African Americans as a majority across the Black Belt. As you know, they've been recently in defiance of the order from the Supreme Court and trying to dilute the vote of the majority of the residents in the Black Belt area. They're pulling down from other counties, taking out sections to lessen the majority. What would have been the districts for the two areas, 2 full districts are fully majority African American, and pulling from another county, pulling part of it out. These things should not be allowed to happen. And I really believe that the Supreme Court should go back and reinstate the Voting Rights Act for where they gutted it. The reason why they gutted it, because they said that we're saying that, well, things are better now, basically, and to paraphrase, and it's not needed. Evidently, it is needed, to the point that the state election people who are writing these districts or whatever won't even adhere to what they have ordered. So the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, gives an order that's supposed to go over for that case and can go over all of the states, goes to Alabama and tell them what they should do, and they're in defiance. When we ask our young people, and sometimes when they don't want to hear the old stories or hear the history of what happened in the state of Alabama and across the South and across the United States, we want you to know that history, because if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. So when a governor of Alabama said that he would not segregate, define the courts, we're having that defiance again. These things have to be addressed. We have to be vigilant about crying out and supporting whatever ways of protest that they are doing in Alabama, and supporting, because this stuff that they're pushing, where they're trying to do this in the supermajority legislatures, is going to metastasize, is the intention. not to do it in just one state, but to do it across all the southern states. And before you know it, they're trying to do it all over the United States. Your vote matters. They would not think about doing all of this if your vote didn't matter. They want to dilute the vote, lessen your votes, lessen your voice. What you're going to do, what we need to do, is vote, vote, vote. We've got to vote. We've got to overcome the majorities that may be in another party to be able to get in. Fair and equal voting. We don't want to take any rights from the Republicans. We don't want to take away any rights from independents. We don't want to take any rights away from Democrats. We want everyone to have an equal vote. But obviously, they're not trying to allow to have an equal vote. So we have to make sure we do every can. Register anyone in your county, your state, who is not registered, and compel them to vote. The laws and the things that are being passed now will affect generations after me, some after me, but even 30 and under, they will be impacted the most. These laws that are being changed and put on the books now. In another topic, I wanted just to hit on some of the things about the Biden administration, and you hear the word Bidenomics. We need to know what is really happening in the state of our economy, how it's affecting us, what is it doing towards jobs. As we know, there's a strike with the SAG-AFTRA for the actors and the writers in the industry. And I stand with anyone who is trying to get a fair wage for the work that they have done. And one thing to say about part of what is in that process of what is going on, you imagine the job that you work at, you did something, you did work on it, and you completed it. Turn it in, everything's done, and they tell you, okay, well, you done it, you completed this today, but we won't pay you for the next 360 days because you did it today. We're going to give you whatever pay you get today, but even if you come to work the rest of these days, you're not going to get any pay for that. It doesn't make sense. So when they're wanting to use and create an AI of the actors and actresses, and then use their likenesses, their image, from now until who knows the infinity in the future, that's not right. Back to Bidenomics. Just wanted you to know that the GDP grew, and it has had consistent growth. And it's bolstered by the strong labor market, as well as real compensation was up 2.7% in the last quarter. As we know, the job market, unemployment has been under 4% for the last 17 months, which is a historic record. Business investment is up 7.7%. Under the Biden administration, of course, they've passed several bills. We have the infrastructure bill, of course, is also called allowing jobs in most areas of states. Is for roads, bridges, airports, also high-speed internet. Under the Biden administration, they passed the Inflation Reduction Act. In the Inflation Reduction Act, and inflation is starting to come down more steadily. In the Inflation Reduction Act, it did claw back some of the money from the tax cuts that were passed under former President, former ex-President Trump, twice impeached, twice indicted, possible more indictments coming. So it did claw back some of those tax breaks. They also passed, under the Biden administration, the CHIPS and Science Act. The CHIPS and Science Act allows course to bring back and increase manufacturing, and it's on a upward trend. In recent quarters, it has supported the Biden and Vice President Harris. The CHIPS Act has brought back manufacturing jobs. It has increased manufacturing, and it's going to be a game changer in the economy moving forward. As you know, when COVID hit and a lot of things were slowing down, and there was a lot of supply chain issues. A lot of that had to do with the chips and things that not being available here in the United States. So this is a windfall for our economy, for our jobs here in the United States. It also has increased domestic production, which is great to be able to get more products and services done and facilitate. It'll, if you ever tried to buy a new car anytime recently, when you go to buy a car, the inventory is low, and a lot of that has to do with a lot of that has to do with the inventory, has to do with the chips bill, and them not having a supply of the chips, and then with the COVID, the backlog from not being able to keep up with the production. All right, I'm just going to touch briefly on housing. I'm going to do a more detailed video on housing and the housing affordability. There's a lot of different moving parts to it, but I did research some information on the HUD.gov site. Recently, HUD has started a program called PAVE, where they are to help combat bias in housing appraisals. So the agency has, there was research done, and there was a task force set up, the PAVE task force. Research had been done, and it confirmed a lot of what we already knew. Secretary Marcia Fudge indicated on their website, where they post videos, that research was done on federal bias. It confirmed consistent and continued and persistent bias in the home appraisal process. And as you know, the home appraisal process means that if you're African American, your house may be the same as another person of another race, and then your house is appraised for less, which reduces your generational wealth, and it can be the same type of house, whatever, for another race, and it will get maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars higher maybe between 100 and 150,000. Sometimes it's 200,000. It's a lot more. That is generational wealth. And if you can do it, consider that being done systemically over years and over time, you will see how it can impact a race of people. What I did find and saw is that HUD has a few different programs to help with. They have vouchers for homeless affordability, and then they also had money set aside per state. The minimum is $3 million per state, and a lot of them are more. State of Florida was set aside for $18 million toward making housing affordable. I will be drilling down into how we in the state of Florida can access those funds, or is how you can find out more about the information, and I want to provide it to you. So I will be getting to that more in a future episode. I want to thank you for tuning in to Nona Black TV. Greatly appreciate you watching. Make sure that you share, like, and subscribe the video. We want to make sure that all are aware the things that are important in Village. We want to make sure no matter who's missing that they're being looked for, resources are being dispersed so that they can try to be found and brought home safe. As we know, we have to raise our voice. We have to draw attention, especially when we are of African American descent and other people of color who may be missing, who may not get the resources, who may not get the media attention. But we also all have voices, so we have to speak up. As we also went into the fact that there are true people missing, we have to make sure that we don't get disheartened or lose faith by anything that comes along. Yes, we have to vet. Yes, we have to, there's going to be some things that get through and we're going to be like, you know what I'm saying? That's why you have to give times and facts, time to come out, time to be vetted, and also get into the meat of the matter of what's really happening. And everyone should be held accountable. If you're white, if you're black, if you of any race or descent, you should be held accountable for your actions. More than anything, we want our families to be whole, and we want our families to not be in lack. We want our voices heard. We want our votes counted. We have things to do. Things are needed. We need a Voting Rights Act passed that was sponsored by John Lewis. You will probably hear me say that every video almost, because it's that imperative. Also, we need the Voting Rights Act. We need gun control passed, sensible gun control, sensible background checks, red laws that are truly followed up on, mental health services, and also, if police come out and they know it's someone having a mental crisis, that maybe they can have someone, psychologist, or someone trained in the mental health field who can go with them to maybe help de-escalate the situation. So there are many things to be vigilant about. I will be doing more videos in the future and try to get more additional information to you, because I want this channel to be more than just, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. I want it to also be a place of resources as for let's do this, let's facilitate this, something that can impact and help. I kindly thank you for participating, watching the video. Please like, share, and comment. Thank you for watching at Nona Black TV. I want to say, may the Lord watch between me and you while we're absent one from another. Thank you.